Welcome to Menopause Daily Webinar. Our guest today is Marie Hoag. She's founder and director of Panacea Sciences. And today she is answering a very important question of how to control menopause. And she's going to talk about why insomnia, anxiety, weight gain, brain fog are not actually inevitable. So before we start, let me tell you a few words about Marie. She is a hormone coach and HRT educator. She's also a consultant with over 20 years of specialized clinical experience. Marie works with women using advanced HRT, and she also trains physicians on HRT protocols. So, Marie, I'm super happy you're here, and over to you.
Yeah, hi, EL. It's nice to be here with you, and thanks for having me. Yeah, it's a topic I enjoy talking about because it's something that I actually practice myself. It impacts my daily life. So when I say control menopause, what I'm talking about is women can use an advanced hormone replacement therapy system to intervene when their hormones are in decline and manage a healthy menstrual cycle for as long as they choose. So I did this about 15 years ago when I was in perimenopause, and at 61, I still maintain a regular menstrual cycle. I don't have perimenopausal symptoms, and I'm not really considered menopausal. So I control my menopause with the type of HRT system that I take.
What you were telling me, Marie, is that we as women, I feel like all of our life, the second part of our life, right? We've been told that hot flashes, weight gain, anxiety, it's all the part of menopause. So just expect it. But you see it differently. And what do you mean? How do you see it differently?
Well, I see it differently in a way that allows women to really take control over their own hormone health, their brain and their body and their mental health. Menopause, if we look at menopause as an extreme state of estrogen deficiency, instead of something that we manage, then we can restore the hormones that changes the hormone signaling to the brain. So when estrogen declines, women will experience symptoms such as hot flashes, night sweats, depression, anxiety, insomnia, joint pain. They experience those things not because they have menopause. In fact, menopause is just another side effect of estrogen deficiency. So what I'm suggesting is if we address the root cause of the hormone deficiencies, estrogen deficiency, progesterone, whatever hormones are depleted, and restore them in a healthy way, in a physiologic way, and at dosages that mimic a woman in her healthiest state, well, then women can control now how their brain is aging and how their body is aging and falling apart. And so it's the hormone messaging, the hormone levels that tells the brain where a woman is in her life stages. So this is why estrogen is so important, because everything in the female body is dependent on plenty of estrogen. So when the blood levels are low, women will feel it from head to toe. They'll feel the decline in their body as they go through perimenopause and into menopause.
Okay, so you see women in your practice all the time, and they talk to you and they complain about their symptoms. So what are those symptoms that you usually see when estrogen is deficient? What does it affect in the woman? How do you see it from the outside looking in?
Yes, I've been measuring clinical indicators and blood labs for pretty close to 20 years now. So we have a pretty good idea about what levels women do best because we measure objective and subjective data. So whenever women's estrogen begins to decline or is low, it doesn't necessarily have to decline. Women can have low estrogen and be in their reproductive prime or perimenopausal or menopausal. So the hormone levels really just dictate where we are in our reproductive life stage. For example, I'm 61, but my hormone signaling is not sending that message through my body. So my body to stay as healthy as possible. So when you make a reversal, when you restore hormones and the hormone signaling, the symptoms that many associate with menopause start to go away, completely eliminated, or they're significantly improved. So when you're measuring labs and clinical indicators, you get a pretty good idea about what that pocket is. Where do women do best? When do they have the least amount of hot flashes, if any? So we take a clinical indicator assessment, which we refer to as the hormone balance test. so women can score their symptoms.
Okay. And actually, that's an interesting question because I see that in our group, Menopause Daily, all the time, where women ask a question of the line of, hey, I started HRT. I am not seeing any progress, or I'm seeing progress and I don't see it anymore. So, all kinds of questions like that. So, why does it happen? Can you tell us a little bit more about this issue when you start HRT, but then you don't see any improvement?
What women need to understand about HRT is there isn't just one. There are 4 generations of HRT, and each generation has different clinical goals and outcomes. A lot of the women that are in the Facebook group, in fact, I probably would say about 99, 98% of women in that group are on a microdosed estrogen patch or on low dose. But
yes, I hear patch all the time. You're right.
But they're expecting a more advanced protocol's results. So when women are taking a micro dose of estrogen, which barely touches what women truly need, let's just say women need to maintain estrogen somewhere between 300 and 500, but the patch only gives women somewhere between 60 and 125, maybe if she's lucky, and that's at the highest dose. So it's considered micro dosing. So women will still feel horrible. They may feel good when they start taking the patch because they're estrogen deficient. And so when you give a woman estrogen for the first time who doesn't have it, her brain will feel it. She'll feel it and she'll feel good, but it doesn't last because her receptors, her body just sucks it up. And she needs more and she doesn't have more. And so now she crashes and she's like, and her body is now craving more estrogen. And she's only getting real droplets from second generation HRT, which is what patch therapy is.
So what I see and what I hear you saying, there is a huge difference between just taking hormones and then restoring your hormonal function, right? Do I understand that correctly?
Oh, very much so. It's important to understand what generation, what type of HRT system you're on, and what are the clinical results? What are you going to get from it? So if you're only going to get temporary symptoms management for 3 to 6 months, well, then that's what that protocol is designed to do. So one of the reasons women are so frustrated and angry is they keep going to menopause specialists and hormone specialists who claim to get their hormones balanced, but they're all doing patch therapy. Like this big movement right now. There was a big movement a few months ago with everybody getting on hormones. That was almost like 6 months ago. And now the big movement is, well, now you have to buy the supplements of the providers because the hormone therapy stops working. And so when patients start complaining in 3 to 6 months, well, now I'm back to having depression. I'm back to having anxiety and I can't sleep now. I felt good before. Can I increase my estrogen? Please. Women ask specifically for estrogen. I mean, they'll say, can you just increase my estrogen? And a doctor who's not trained on estrogen, especially advanced protocols, will say, well, you're maxed out on your dose. This is it. This is all you get. This is the ceiling. And women are like, well, I need more. And the doctor's like, sorry, that's all you get. And that's why they're jumping into these groups trying to get answers. But, it's like, I'm not even sure that when women will even know the real answer to what they're looking for. So this is also hard. And that's why, that's why the lounge is just brilliant for women who are dead serious about getting their hormones balanced. It's really cutting through the noise so that women can say, listen, I want to know what's going on here by people who have, some background and experience, not in conventional menopause medicine, but more of a type of approach to menopause that allows women truly control over their mental state and their physical health.
Yeah, I agree. I think estrogen and hormones, that's like probably our topic number one. Weight gain, hormones, and anxiety and fatigue also is very widely discussed. So we talk about estrogen. So what about progesterone? I feel like also complete misunderstanding. We don't know what it is about, how to balance it properly. So can you tell us a few words about progesterone as well?
Yes, there is a lot of confusion around progesterone, and it's a tricky hormone to balance. So what we've learned with progesterone is women need plenty of circulating estrogen for progesterone to work as this secondary main sex supportive calming hormone to to estrogen.
Mhm.
Those two hormones work in a rhythmic cycle. The female body was designed to work in a rhythmic pattern with estrogen and progesterone, mainly to regulate the menstrual cycle and for reproduction. And so a lot of women take progesterone and low dose estrogen, and they can't figure out why they feel worse when they take progesterone. There has to be plenty of circulating estrogen. So a lot of women will blame progesterone for the way it makes them feel. But the reality is, when a woman takes progesterone without plenty of estrogen, she will feel horrible. It's just scary. That's just what we figured out.
Interesting.
And so we have to, with estrogen, we need to get that up a certain range, but you have to restore estrogen and progesterone simultaneously, because we use both of those hormones to restore and regulate a healthy menstrual cycle, to shed the lining of the uterus. But
so that's an interesting point. So you are saying it is possible to restore healthy menstrual cycle for a woman. That's super interesting to me. Can you tell us a little bit more about this? And then also, why does this matter for us as women to have a menstrual cycle?
Yeah, this is what we specialize in. Not because we want to, not because women sign up for periods, but it's because
True.
that is probably one of the biggest clinical indicators that tells us if women have enough hormones or not.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's actually a side effect of having enough hormones, of true hormonal balance. Because when we've dialed the estrogen in to the right hormone sweet spot, and the progesterone is dialed in to its hormone sweet spot, then the body starts to regulate on its own. And it's the menstrual cycle that tells us what's going on in the body. So it's the most outwardly way that we know what's happening, are the processes in our body. How is our heart functioning, our lungs, our digestive system, our sleep. Our sleep, our circadian rhythm matches the natural hormonal rhythm of a woman. And so these two rhythms are designed to sync together. Estrogen's responsible for circadian rhythm. And when I say estrogen's responsible for absolutely every biochemical action in the female body, that's not a lie. That's not an overstatement. And so we can't, and this is why women, they need to understand, if you don't feel good, then chances are your estrogen's low, because we use that as a clinical indicator if women have enough hormones. So if we're dialing in the hormones so women feel good every day for no real good reason, even when things are bad, and the side effect is the menstrual cycle, well, when you ask a woman whose hormones are dialed in and they can't imagine feeling any better than they do to get rid of the menstrual cycle, they'll be like, I don't think so.
Yes, please.
Yes, it's like women are supposed to have an incident-free menstrual cycle. So women with PMS, PMDD, headaches, pelvic inflammation, those tell us as clinicians that the hormones aren't fully balanced yet. So when women, I am getting headaches right before my period. Okay, well, let's do this then. You know, those are like tuning a piano. It's like, that's why we listen to women's symptoms. We don't just mask them with low dose therapy and psychotropic drugs. We use them to actually dial in the hormones to the sweet spot and then maintain that hormonal balance for as long as a woman chooses. So this is how women control menopause. So I'm going to control my menopause by deciding it when I'm going to experience it, if at all.
I see. So in your practice, when women come to you, you restore their hormones, what do they usually tell you? What does it feel for them? Like, how do they describe to you how they start feeling after properly doing the HRT therapy?
Well, we mostly use therapeutic dose protocols. That means that the moment the patient takes their first dose, they will feel it somewhere within 20 to 40 minutes. Okay. And the first, usually in this session, when I do this clinical coaching in this session, I train the patient how to take their hormones and then have them do it in front of me. And then I usually talk about what they would experience and what's happening next and when to those sorts of things, just kind of wrapping up. But usually towards the end of the session, women are just shocked at what's going on in their brain. And they say things like, what is happening right now?
I'm so smart.
Well, no, that's what they're just like. I feel like that somebody had just opened the sunroof of my car. Or I feel like I'm coming.
That's a great comparison. Yeah.
Just coming out of a coffin, I'm coming alive. And so when women finally get enough estrogen, they actually feel alive.
I see.
Instead of dead. I don't mean to laugh, but it's like women don't realize how dead they feel until they get a good dose of estrogen.
Yeah. Maybe for some, it's a good way to put it. I agree, because I see some women, they're really, really suffering with the symptoms. So for some of us, definitely could be a stark difference between where we used to be and where we're now when we balanced everything. Is there, like, when they go through the system of hormone balancing, are there stages? Are there, like, what's the process? What does it look like as a process for a woman?
Many people claim that their programs are life transforming, but because the therapeutic dosing that we use, it truly is a type of transformation that happens to a woman's brain and body and her personality and her world, because she's more stable emotionally and she feels more centered with herself. So her interactions with other people are different. And her body is healing and her brain is healing. And this is a process over time. So it's a 3-phase process. The initial phase, our goal is to get the hormones into the body the best way possible, without freaking out the system. And so the body adapts to these hormones. So it's a bit of an up and down process. Women will feel good initially, and then they'll go back to not feeling so good. But because they're on a plan and we're on a schedule, there's a titration adaptation process that we put them on. So you can't just load a woman up with all the hormones she needs. You have to give them a therapeutic dose, allow the body to adapt for about 3 to 4 months, change the dose if necessary, take a clinical indicator assessment, take lab work, and decide if their dosing adjustment is needed or if we should stay there, if this is a place of hormonal balance.
Okay, all right. So if I am a woman, and if I am willing to go ahead and start this process with you, with your clinic, what does it take? How do you evaluate? Am I a good candidate for you or not? Give us a little bit more information about that.
Yeah, our program it's like no other, because it's a sophisticated program designed to take a woman from hormonal depletion to hormone optimization. And it's not for everybody. Not everybody's a good candidate. And so we have to have a consultation to see if somebody's a good candidate. And the discovery session that we offer for free allows us to assess to see if somebody would be good for this or not. Health-wise, would they be good? Would they be compliant? Are they still married to what everybody's saying in Facebook groups and won't trust the process? I mean, women really have to come in and make the commitment. They can't be going back saying, I changed my hormones because somebody in this group said to change it. It's like it won't work that way. So it is full commitment, because everybody is on the same page with where we're going, the doctor, the hormone coach, and the patient. So women need to understand the 3 stages. This is what it's going to be. This is how you're going to feel through the process. This is what it costs. This is the time commitment. And then women can make a decision if it's for them. And I'll let them know, listen, it's not for you, but this might be good for you. And I'll, refer them someplace, or I'll say, listen, I think it'd be a good candidate.
Okay. This is so interesting. I mean, thank you for answering so many questions, because I think it's a very timely topic for everybody to discuss and just to start thinking about it. So if I hope, our audience found it helpful. And if some of you ladies listened to Marie and it resonated with you, and you think that this is a good place for me to start, so if you decide to contact Marie, what is the best way to start working with you, to kind of start thinking about it and to start the process? Give us some information so that those who are interested, they could reach out and start their journey.
Yeah, it would start with assessing how you feel, what your clinical indicators, what your symptoms are. And a good way to get started is to go to the hormonebalancetest.com. That's hormonebalancetest.com.
My team is going to put that on the screen right now so that you could see where to go. Okay. And with this is when a woman finishes this clinical indicator assessment, they will have the opportunity to book a discovery session to discuss their results.
And if they have any labs, I'm happy to just review those and, talk about those for a few minutes as well and let them know where they stand. So women know, where am I with this? I'm on low dose, or I've never had hormones before. Where do we start with this? So I let them know what their journey might look like. And so the first place to start is with the hormone balance test, and then you can go from there.
Yeah, sounds like a good plan. Easy to start. So I hope it is helpful for those who are watching us today. We plan on continuing. Me and Marie, we already have several webinars that we discussed that we want to cover to bring you all of this information and highlight it from different angles. So looking forward, Marie, to speaking with you again sometime soon.
Well, you as well, Elle. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, thank you.
Bye.